Hello everybody and welcome to the IFT Trade Review. My name is Chima Burey and I am the lead Forex instructor at iFund Traders, and wanted to just review with you a few trades that we took today. Actually 5 trades in fact. The first of which we're going to look at the dollar CAD. After some, let's say, conservative movement throughout the day, we noticed a huge excitable event that took place. Now this excitable event is what we call an elephant bar. And as you can see, that's the largest bar on our screen. And after that, a few things can happen. We can actually experience an immediate follow-through, or we anticipate or expect some form of a pullback, which we actually got. Now, one of the plays that we teach at IFT would show you how to take advantage of this particular move. And as you can see, I waited for the continuation or the follow-through of this move, placing my entry just above price action. Now, I often like to have price prove itself, and in that fact it actually did. It triggered my buy, and price is moving higher. Now the red bar that you see up top is my let's say my take profit, or one of my, let's say, profit targets. All right, as we switch through and we look at the 30-minute chart, I want to see how price is reacting and moving. 4-hour chart, I want to see how price is reacting and moving. Now the red bar, or the red moving average that you see, is the 200, and here we can see as price pushed through that on the 4-hour, it's showing a very, very, very strong push upward. Now back to the 15, we can see that price is moving nice, slow, and steady. All right, let's see and calculate how much or how many pips we're up so far. We are looking at approximately, let's say, about 15, 16 pips. All right, so we're going to let this run, and the red bar is our first target. Now on to the pound dollar. Here, price action has actually triggered a short trade for me. I was in this trade earlier today, and price just kept on giving. This particular setup that we have here is a continuation setup, another technique that we teach at IFT. So far, as you can see, I'm up about 28, let's say about 30 pips on this trade. Made about 50 on the trade earlier. And as we can see, price is moving very, very, very fast in the downward direction. So this indicates dollar strength, a little bit more aggressive than that of the dollar CAD that we looked at a little bit earlier. And as we switch to, let's say, the 30-minute chart, we can see price is continuing to show, let's say, a vertical move, or what I like to call a vertical move. Now this is a move that I'm very cautious of, because as things move fast and fast in one direction, they tend to have a snapback ability. So being that I already took some profit from this earlier, and now I'm up, let's say, another, 3 more pips, all right, 33 pips, I am going to be very cautious in not being, let's say, too greedy, and be mindful of my profit taking and my trailing techniques and my methods in order for me to definitely adhere or make sure that I make some additional profit. So right now we're going to trail this method via what we call a bar by bar technique, and this is one of the trailing methods that we do teach, one of many. And let's see how this one progresses throughout the day. So we'll check back on this one. Now we're going to move to the dollar Swiss. All right. Here in the dollar Swiss, we have a buy. Now this setup has triggered. Now clearly we can see, or we notice, that the price is trending upward. We see the lows are starting to get higher and higher, therefore a transition from the downtrend that it was on. But we also see something very intriguing in the higher time frames. Now this setup, or I've been looking for this setup for quite some time now, actually a couple days in fact. We see clearly that we have been in a downtrend, transition from a previous uptrend, as we can see from the trend line break. However, we see what we call a twin tower event, or a bull 180 that just transpired. Now along with that, we had a retest of the low. All right, now with that retest, it shows that price is being, or there's a rejection from that low. And as we go to the 4-hour, we see it a little bit more clearly as well. Now that transition down to the hourly, we see price is proving itself and showing that it's actually ready to move a little higher. Now based on that progression, it caused me to actually go ahead and put a buy stop on the lower time frame, basically transitioning from a higher all the way down to the lower time frame. Once price starts to prove itself, then you obviously increase the probability of success of your trade, and the reason why we put the buy there in the first place. All right, so now let's take a look at the next trade, and we're going to be looking at the euro pound. Now as we look at the euro pound pair, we notice a couple things. Obviously the trend is now transitioning down. Our sell stop is now triggered, so we're currently in a short position. The uptrend is now turned into a downtrend. The highs are becoming a little lower. Now, how do we figure out a target? What are some of the things that we look at to help us determine a target? Obviously, we're hitting some support on the hourly. Price is touching the 20. And also, I will look at the 4-hour. Where else is support? Support is also found here. We see the 8 and the 20 are in the way. So price is a little wood to chop right around the 84836 area, and that's where our first potential profit taking should take place. A couple of things we notice. Working in our favor, price was in an uptrend, making higher highs, and for some reason it couldn't continue. It broke the trend line. Price had touched that point about 3 or so times and retested it and failed. All right, there's also something very significant about price action right now. It has now made what we call a double top. As you can see, price touching these levels, it has tested, tried, and has been rejected. All right, so right around that point, we anticipate price having enough momentum to get down to those moving averages, and that's where we're going to place our first stop. This pair is especially very important to us here at IFT because we use the inferences from the directional momentum of this chart to help us with momentum in some other pairs, the euro dollar and the pound dollar especially. So price is moving along here in the 30-minute chart. That 200 moving average is somewhere around where we see support around the 4-hour. So let's see how this trade develops. Currently in the euro yen, we see a setup. All right, this is a sell setup, very similar to some of the setups that we saw earlier in the day. But however, this one hasn't triggered yet. So this gives me an opportunity for us to actually look at the trade before the trigger. And here we see an area of consolidation before price actually follows through. Now, how do I know price is going to go lower? That's one of the things that as traders we try to figure out. How do we know what price is going to do next? So here at IFT, this is one of the classic techniques that we use, and I have set my sell stop in place, and let's see what's going to happen. So sometime in the near future, price is either going to go up or go down, but chances are I believe price is going to continue or follow through to the downward side. All right, so let's check back on this one as well. All right, guys. Let's take a look at the euro yen. We put a sell stop in at this pair, and it has now triggered. All right, so price has fallen through that position. We had anticipated a continuation to the downside, and based on some small consolidation and candlestick formations, we noticed that price is now ready to move lower. Price transitioned from an uptrend into a downtrend, as we can see. However, one of the big questions for traders if you miss the initial move, how do you take advantage of the second? So for quite some time, this is one of the areas that a lot of traders are afraid to partake. When we look at a higher time frame, we see that the trend looks like it's just getting underway. But how do you take advantage? A lot of times you feel you've missed the entire move. We have about 30 minutes left in this bar before it closes. But one key fact that we see is that price has now shown us that it could be moving lower and lower for quite some time, because this was a pretty strong trend. The trend line touched about 1, 2, 3, 4, let's say 4 or 5 points before it broke. Price rallied, tested the high, failed to follow through, and now is proving lower. And on our 4-hour chart, we see that we're making a new low. So that entry point on our 15-minute chart was also, as price moved lower or showed us that it was ready to move lower, that we could take advantage of that price break. So let's move to the 30-minute. We see price extending lower yet again. We're getting some separation away from the 8 and the 20. So we're going to start moving bar by bar as price moves lower. So let's keep an eye on this. I still think that we have some more price action to take advantage of. Back to the 15. It's looking pretty healthy. Nice trend. Let's see what happens next. All right, everybody, let's do a quick follow-up to the dollar CAD buy that we had a little bit earlier. We had a excitable event. That's what we call an elephant bar, and we had a pullback towards the moving average. We set a buy stop, and price has followed through. We also had a target in mind, 101.464, and price has gone up there and given it a kiss. So we have eliminated out of a majority of our position. We're going to leave the remainder to just trail bar by bar or trailing the 8. We have collected about 36, 37 pips. Right now we're at about, let's say, what is that? About 20. All right, let's say about 22 pips. We're going to trail it, probably trailing the 8. But let's take a look at some higher time frames and look at price action. Very bullish. Nice follow through, as we can see on the 30-minute. On the hourly, let's take a look. Bullish yet again. Very nice. Price is starting to get a little vertical though. And on our 4-hour, wow, very, very, very big move. So let's keep an eye on that. We've already collected about 36 pips. We're going to trail the rest of it, and let's see what happens. But so far, so good. All right, guys, let's check out the pound dollar coming up next. Guys, we seem to be in the profit-taking mood today. Trades are going very, very, very well for us. Pound dollar is no exception. So far, we're up about, let's say, about 40, 41 pips. Price is moving very well, but this is our second move for the day. So what we're going to do, we're going to trail this bar by bar. Price is getting pretty vertical. Nice separation away from the 8 and the 20. Worst case scenario, bar by bar, we're going to collect about 34 pips. Great trade. Well, on to our follow-up for the dollar Swiss. There's a few things happening in this trade for us to pay special attention to. First of all, we're in profit, which is always a great thing. So the trend is moving up pretty nicely, and we're currently up, let's say, about 35 pips, thereabout. All right, so want to be mindful of a couple things, however. As we look at price, we see that this is clearly the second move. As we go to the 30-minute chart and our hourly chart, we're going to see that price is definitely moving and moving at a rapid pace. So we're starting to get somewhat vertical. All right, now as we're closing, let's say close to midday, and price has definitely gotten a little spark, we notice that this bar is considered an elephant bar. It's the biggest bar that we've seen to the left, right? However, that bar has come a little bit after the move has already started. So we know that we're in an uptrend. We know that because we've hit a peak, or a bottom in this case, and we see that our lows are getting what? They're starting to get higher and higher. But the move has already been ignited. It's already started. But here we go, close to the end of our move. What are we seeing? An excitable event. So I'm going to trail this bar by bar at a minimum, collect 35 pips, call it a day. Great trade again. All right, everybody, let's look at the euro pound. This follow-up is a sweet one. It has hit our target. We collected somewhere about 20, let's say about 23 pips on that particular one. So far, so good. Price is moving downward as we thought. We're in this short. It hit our sell stop, continued. It actually plowed below the 200 moving average on the 15. And the remaining of the trade, currently we're about 21 pips. We're going to trail out the rest of it. Probably use a bar-by-bar technique. I'm happy to see that price is staying in the bottom third of this elephant bar. Always a good sign. And our 4-hour chart, remember these were the trees we were talking about. Our take profit, we wanted to go somewhere around the 84879 region, and we've hit it. So great trade. Here we go. Last but not least, we have the euro yen. Wow, look at that one. This trade exploded. We saw this one from start to finish. The trade started out as consolidation. It exploded down, huge elephant bar. Worst case scenario, we're going to trail this bar by bar. We will at least, at a minimum, book between 30 to 33, let's say about 33 pips on this particular trade. All in total, in one day, we've done about 160 pips. That's right, 160 pips. That's great for a week, much less one day. This and more are some of the dynamic things that are taking place at IFT. Come visit us. Be a part of the movement. Be a part of the team. www.ifundtraders.com.